Welcome back to Why This Beer, the show where we dig into the people, stories, and experiences shaping the craft beer we love. I'm Azlan Graves from Main Street Brewing, joined as always by Darren Binema of Neighborhood Brewing and Yellow Dog Penticton.
Hello, everyone.
And today's guest is Miguel Molina, co-founder of Changing Colors, a brand new project he's building with his wife, Andrea. Miguel's craft beer story first began back in Ecuador, and now he's channeling those early roots into a new chapter here in Canada, one focused on hop-forward beers that carry both creativity and attitude. Changing Colors is as much about ethos as it is about flavor, inspired by the energy and DIY spirit of punk music. Miguel and Andrea pull from brands like The Damned, Neat Neat Neat, Misfits, Astro Zombies, and Bad Religion's Generator, not just for names, but for independence and grit that define their approach to beer. Today we'll hear Miguel's story, how music and hops collide in his brewing philosophy, and what's ahead for Changing Colors as it steps into the craft beer stage. So let's dive in. This is Why This Beer with Miguel Molina of Changing Colors. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Azlan. That's pretty dope introduction. Love it.
Insert punk music there.
How do you know?
I must say,
Yeah.
I felt like a bit of a poser when it was my coworker was like, neat, neat, neat. Is that a Damned reference? And I was like, oh, you're right. It's like, of course, every other one I've caught felt like pretty quickly. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, let's chat a bit about you, because otherwise I'll just go down this nostalgia wave of 90s skate punk.
Of course.
Can you share your journey in craft beer and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, of course. Well, first, thank you, Darren. Thank you, Azlan, for the invitation. That's pretty cool. What you guys are doing is pretty awesome. Yeah, keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
let's
talk about me. Do you want to talk about me, or do you want to talk about Changing Colors?
We want to hear it all.
We want to know the man behind the brew.
Yeah. I would say let's start, I don't know, like 2013, 2014. Like beer has always been part of like my life. I would say when I was a teenager, I started like, drinking beer, going to punk shows, or playing with bands and like jamming and blah, blah, blah. And then just, yada, yada. But from there, I was always like drinking, commercial, cheap beer. And eventually, I was with one of my friends back in Ecuador. I'm from Ecuador, by the way. So back in Ecuador, I was with one of my friends, and he was like, hey, do you want to go and check out this place? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. It was a really weird neighborhood where you don't really go if you're local. He's like, why are we going there? It's quite dangerous. I don't want to be there. But he was like, no, it's a pretty cool spot, so let's go. We went to this spot, and there was a craft brewery. So we went in, there was like some food, pizza, and I was like, what is this? Like, what IPA? What the hell is this? An amber ale back then, all those like classics. And that's pretty much how I start trying craft for the first, I would say, time ever. Or at least I knew that it was something different at that point. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. We kept going like every week just for, grabbing a couple beers. And then eventually when I grabbed one of the commercial beers again, I was like, holy, why is this so different, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I like this, or at least I like this more, right? And from there, we just basically were chatting about beer and how this was made and like different ingredients, blah, blah. But I didn't really know anything about it. At the time, I was working for a TV station doing sound design for pretty much series and stuff like that. Doing some location sound and working in that area. And eventually with my friend, I had a loan, and I was looking forward to build up a business related to my career in that at that time. And he was like, hey, why don't we just like sell beer? Like, there's no spots in the city where we can sell beer, like this beer. And we're like, sure.
To make like a craft beer spot.
Like a craft beer. There was a couple craft breweries that they were like just starting. And we were like, yeah, we can't find this beer anywhere. And we have like 3-4 friends like making beer. Why don't we just, I don't know, start the spot and then try to sell it there? So we, like 1 week after, my friend comes back and say, hey, I already got the spot. And I was like, what are you talking about? So he
Yeah.
got a spot really small in like a neighborhood, like where nothing else was happening. And I was like, okay, no one's going to come here. But we got the spot and it was super small. And I was like, yeah, I got this money. Let's put it up. It was like 10 grand. It was like nothing for starting a business. We started building up tables. I remember like we were building up tables, building up the bar and everything out in the streets on the sidewalk. And people were passing by and they were like, are you guys like carpenters? Or are you guys opening something like that here? And I was like, no, it's going to be a bar. So yeah, eventually we were like trying more beers, of course, at that point. That was like 2015. And we're trying a little bit more like local craft, trying to understand the difference between like beer styles and stuff like that. That's when I got a little bit more interested on beer. And because some of my friends, they were like brewers, like home brewers, turning into commercial brewers too. I was like, oh, this is BJCP. What is that? And I started to get into it a little bit more. Yeah, and that's how I got like BJCP certified. Like I remember a Mexican guy came to Ecuador. He did the full course there, and then we did the exam, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, neat. That's kind of cool. So I started learning a little bit more about that. We opened the bar, and it was so small. It was like 25 seats, really like DIY 100%.
Yeah. And were you doing draft or?
We had 9 taps, and it was funny because we had 9 taps. We built up everything, like all the faucets. We went like and buy them. It was crazy. With no experience, we didn't know anything about beer.
So the lines are too short of a run. Everything's pouring foamy.
We literally had like we had a fridge down in the bar. And then we ran the hoses up to the taps. Yeah, no fobs, anything like that. It was like directly from the kegs. We used to open the fridge to like pretty much switch kegs. And we were using 20s back then, like 20-liter kegs all the time. So, and I got a couple of friends that they were like, oh, I don't want to sell you kegs. We only sell bottles. And I was like, what? It's funny because the guy right now, he owns like one of the biggest breweries in Ecuador right now. And he's like, oh, I remember those days.
The good old days, yeah.
Yeah, good old days. So that's pretty much what happened.
What kind of beers would have been on tap, like if you had 9 taps? Is it like, we talked to Martin from
Chile. Yeah.
From Chile. And he was like, yeah, brown ale reigns supreme, or red ale. I can't remember which one. I was like,
it's brown and amber ales.
Brown and amber ales.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's similar in Ecuador, or if there's lighter options.
I remember there were 4 breweries that we started working with, and they were friends. So the first one was Monkey's Brew, and he was like a little bit traditional brews. He had like an IPA, amber ale, and like stout flat. That was it.
Yeah.
And then, these other guys that opened this spot in like downtown, they were actually from the States, and they went to Ecuador for vacation, and they opened the spot because they didn't find any IPAs. So I remember they had an IPA that was pretty good, and that's the beer that I tried first. And I was like, wow, this is pretty sweet. So there were a little bit of IPAs, and then lagers for sure, but really not the lagers that we're drinking right now, right? It's like a little bit different. But yeah, that's how it pretty much started. It went pretty good. Like the first year went super good. I was super happy, and like a lot of people that we didn't know came to the spot, and they were saying like, where's all this beer from? They were like, yeah, it's local. Eventually we ended up with
just
like
down the street.
30 40 brands of beer, and it was like not only commercial but also like you would say home brewers that wanted to like small breweries.
Right.
They were coming to the spot and say, hey, I got beer, can I sell it here? It was like, put your bottles there, because bottles were like very popular back then. No cans, nothing like that. So yeah, like it was pretty fun. And of course this spot was linked with a lot of like music, and we were doing a lot of different bands and stuff like that. And that's how everything started. And I was doing my full-time job as well while running the bar at night. So, and I was doing the bar. It was my friend and myself, right, doing everything.
Yeah.
So eventually, after that first year, I was like, I need to stop like doing this crazy thing. So I quit my job and I focused on the bar. And then a year after, we opened a second location with my friend too, and we had 30 taps on that location.
Wow.
So it grows like really intense, but it was like same vibes, pretty cool. A lot of like beers from France, strong golden ales, I remember. Crazy things like a chili porter. It was like insane. And we had like 1 liter glasses, so imagine that. It was crazy. Yeah. So that's pretty much how
Get
it
loose
went.
quick.
Yeah, and I remember there was a guy. This funny story, but there was a guy that used to love the chili porter, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Give me a liter of that." I was like,
A liter
"Are
of it?
you sure about that?" Yeah, it was
I don't
funny.
think that's going to be good for your stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, okay,
Yeah.
there you go. But anyways, that's how it started. And then at the time, I remember I started like traveling, going to the States a little bit more and just visiting more breweries. And that got like, I don't know, it was like, oh, this is what I want to do, like go visit breweries, go to shows and have fun.
Yeah.
So eventually, of course, we went to like big breweries like Other Half and then Russian River. And I was like, oh, like experimenting all these different beers. And that pretty much opened my mind a lot. Like it was like, oh, such a big world on beer, in beer, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then came back. I met Andrea at the time, and I was like, hey, like we are buying beer from everyone, and I already know how to make beer. I know how to make beer back then. Not really, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, we should start making our own beer and sell it at the bar. So that's what we did, and then we got a really small spot. We got a 200-liter system with like 3 fermenters with wheels that we had to wheel into the cold room. And then we start brewing there. So we start brewing. I remember we had like 3-4 core brands and we were canning already. A couple of friends of mine, they were like offering canning service and they were like the first canning service company. They used to bring their van, but it was like a really small van. The guys right now are huge, but like small van, bring down like a cask canner, like all manual. And it was like, okay. So we were doing cans. Yeah, we had a lager. I remember we had like a easy drinking crisp lager, like not really related to any style. It was like, it's a lager. And then we had a West Coast IPA. We had an amber ale and a cardamom stout. So
cool.
yeah, in our mind is let's cover all the colors, right?
Yeah.
So that's
I feel
how
like
it went.
too, like at that time that was pretty on point. You'd always have like a dark beer, your IPA, an easy drinking either blonde or lager. Like a lager was like a impressive flex at that point. Freaking craft beer around the world, like you just usually you just do cream ale.
Save it for the big boys,
Yeah,
and
100%. I'd imagine
and then
my
you'd always have
lagers.
some spiced beer, like either a spiced wit or a stout.
Correct.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say cardamom saison. I was like, oh yes,
yeah, exactly.
The chai saison or the cardamom saison.
Yeah, that works pretty well.
Szechuan saison, classic. That was big.
I did like a lot of that cardamom stout. I think those flavors go really well. It was really heavy on like roasted barley. It was like really like coffee like beer, and it was like 7% stout.
Oh wow!
It was intense in flavor. Yeah, I only remember that it was pretty good at the time. I don't know if I try it right now, maybe like what I'm drinking right now.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
That's the next changing colors winter seasonal.
Yeah.
Yes, it's coming in 2 months. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we start brewing. Andrea as well. She was like helping me out like with a couple of brew days here and there. And then start selling cans all over, the city and like other cities. And it was growing. And we were like, okay, what should we do? Like probably get a loan or finance something and get a bigger space and try to do something here. But we really didn't have all the experience, I would say, to run an actual brewery and an actual production brewery, or just like, I don't know, in general, make really solid beer. So we were, okay, let's take another path. And what if I go and study brewing somewhere? And then eventually we can continue with this dream or this project, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what we did. And then we moved over to BC. I was looking for different options. I remember my sister-in-law was already going to Edinburgh for studying her master's there. And we were like, maybe we can go there. And there's like a brewing program there too.
Yeah, Harriet Watt there?
Yeah, correct. So I was like just about to do that. But eventually Vancouver came up and Andrea was working in film. She still works in film a little bit. we were like, oh, it's a good option because there's tons of breweries.
Yeah.
There's market for, film like industry, and there's a brewing school, so let's go there. And I sold my part of the bar, which was really hard to do. Like all those years of, building up the business, I sold my part to my friend. The brewery was in between Antra and me, so we sold that to different people. And then we took all those funds and were like, okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah. This will buy us 1 month rent in Vancouver. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. And then we end up here. We came up with, of course, Andrea, my daughter, and my cat, which is somewhere there. Yeah, and then
Fun.
went to brewing school. It was pretty dope. I already
So
had
like at KPU.
Yeah, I went to KPU.
Yeah,
did the 2 years. It was in my experience was pretty good. Like any other on university or school. It depends on you, and it depends on how you take those tools to like build whatever you want to build.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun. Like the laboratories were great, and there were a lot of really good people behind, which was cool. And the brewery was pretty sweet. Can't complain.
It's pretty sweet there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the setup, but hear great things.
It's really
I've seen
cool.
some cool
It's
photos.
really cool. Yeah.
Then the smallest little NSI brew house you've ever seen in your entire life, but it's like still got little lights in there and
little
little
tri clamps.
Yeah, tri clamps. Yeah, it's very nice. And
it's very nice.
And the lab is nice too, because you do like when you're not brewing on that system, you get a chance to do like kind of homebrew setups, but like it's nice, like induction burners and all that stuff. It's pretty set up for just like doing it,
just learning.
Yeah, which is sweet.
Yeah, they have like I think 6 or 8 separate systems, like small systems, induction systems, as you said. And the NSI is pretty sweet. Yeah, it's a really neat, clean brewery. The cool thing about like going to school as well is you get access to all these tools and instruments, right? Like not every brewery sometimes has all of them. So a full laboratory with like a lot of micro and like a lot of things that you can experiment and learn. So that's kind of cool. I would say that's the best part of going and trying to do something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then keep going to breweries. I remember going to Vancouver. One of my first breweries here, aside from Steel Nog, which I live pretty close, was 33 Acres Experimental. And I went in with a friend like 2 weeks after moving, and I was like, it's pretty cool. I like it from the outside. I've been able to see the system. I was like, it will be nice to work here someday.
Yeah.
Right. It was fun. Finished school, of course. And and then
is that your first job there?
My
first job outside of school?
Yes, actually, my first job here was at school selling beer. Yeah, on Fridays, which is like weird. I barely got paid because it was like 5 hours a week. It was like nothing. Yeah, but it was fun. And then I got a couple jobs. 33 Acres was I would say the biggest one in terms of like learning experience, because I feel that it was exponential learning, and with all these like this bag of experiences and like tools and like school and like going to different places, just going to a brewery and actually working at a production brewery was a little bit different. It might be a shock for like new brewers sometimes, because it can be very intense working a production brewery. So it was for me. I wasn't expecting like a lot of like that fast piece, and also like attention to detail at that level. And I was like, okay, it was a little bit overwhelming actually.
I bet.
It can be a lot.
But I would say like if you keep it grinding, like you learn a lot of things, and that's like learning and meeting really awesome humans. It's been like very important. I went there. I was brewing, doing triples, like
triple brews,
triple brews and stuff like that. Yeah, it was fun brewing there because they had those 2 breweries, right? They had 33A and B, so it wasn't like boring or anything like that, because we were able to brew on 33A for a couple of weeks and cellar there, and then move to 33B, brew there, and do the same thing. So you were doing a little bit of like both things, like different systems, and that was kind of cool. So that's
a bit of a change of scenery.
Yeah,
breaks up the monotony.
Yeah, for sure. And then what was
you've kind of moved your way through. Then Boardwalk.
Yeah, I
And
did boardwalk. So that opportunity came up, and I was like, I might be able to do something like that. It's quite different. I gotta say, I've been very lucky as well, because I've been here for 6 years, and it's different, like moving from somewhere else, like just learning English and all those different steps that you have to do in between, and then also like meeting people.
Totally.
So I feel that having the ability to do that is very important, like meeting with the right people, and it happened to me, so I feel lucky because of that. So Boardwalk came by, and I went to see the system. I was like, okay, we can do it. I took the job, and then I was there for like almost 2 years. It was a fun experience. A lot of things happened in the back, but I would say what I was trying to build up there as a head brewer, like kind of like stick to the minds of the community somehow. They were coming back, and they were saying, "Oh, I like this beer," or "Oh, that I really enjoy this weird." I remember I did a mojito New England IPA, which was like, even myself was like, what I'm thinking right now. But people were digging those beers, and yeah, we won a few awards for them, which was pretty good. And eventually they decided to close the brewery, unfortunately. So I remember we had a trip booked with Andrea for going to vacation. So I was like, okay, it's okay, let's go. We went for 2 weeks for vacation, and during vacation, like going to other breweries. We went to Chicago, visit
nice.
Omega Yeast and all the things. And we're like, you know what? Maybe if we go back, we can start something. Because I was like, it's just that, I don't know, that bug inside. I was saying like, you might be able to do it,
Yeah.
So we decided to kind of take action, and we were like, yeah, let's do it when we come back. The budget was pretty low, pretty much nothing. So anyways, we came back, and then Poker Brothers came by. They called me. I was like, hey, they were like, yeah, we're looking for a head brewer here. Rick was actually head brewer in there.
Stepping away.
Yeah, I think he helped out, like building up the brewery.
I think it was always going to be for him, I think.
Yeah.
And well, the brewery it's pretty neat. When I got there, I was like, holy, I didn't know this brewery was
big, nice space.
Yeah, really
with
nice
windows
equipment. Too. That's pretty good. Yeah.
After 33,
So I took the job there, and luckily the guys were like quite open when I mentioned that in my interview. I was like, hey, I might be doing this, I don't know when, but eventually. And they were like, yeah, that's okay. And then I would say 6 months after, we were able to create a company and do all those things. We weren't able to do that before because of our permanent residency.
Okay.
So we didn't know any of these things until we started digging in.
Until you tried.
The fun stuff,
Yeah. So eventually,
you need to be a citizen in order to open the company.
You gotta be like permanent resident, or having someone,
residency,
or having a citizen on your company, like having a percentage of it, or that's pretty much it. So of course we were waiting for it for that document, and then we weren't able to do anything. So in the meantime, we were like just like brainstorming ideas, and we're like, yeah, we could do this and that, blah blah blah. And that's how it came back, pretty much. And now we are here.
Well,
crazy. Now we're here.
Yeah, and you've done a great job with like the artwork, the look of your brand. I think it's a pretty neat thing to, I don't know, see something that really pops on shelves in this day and age. Like the Astro Zombie look with the it's like bright, bold colors on what looks almost like just like a raw can.
It's funny story, because we were designing these labels before having the company, like before everything. We were like working on the labels and like trying to get ahead on like other things. We had these labels, and they looked really different, and I sent them over we were planning to do printed cans, and then the printed samples came back, and I was like, something is not here. I don't really enjoy. And I was like, oh, it's because the background, I don't know, I didn't like the way the background was printed. And I was like, what if I just like remove the background, just make it transparent? And actually I did that. And then they started looking like this, and I was like, actually
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So we started like experimenting more around there,
Yeah.
and it got into something more solid, and that's how it came back into this.
Yeah, we actually originally did this kind of look with our like hard seltzer brand. It was like naked cans or like look transparent metal underneath, and then like we go to run it on our canning line. It's like, oh, we need a new sensor because the normal like pack liter sensor looks for white, basically looking for the missing
for the label.
So like basically when you have this with like the wrong backing paper, it just doesn't know what to do. That's always a fun thing to figure out on the day you're canning.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, luckily we didn't have that.
You're like, we're gonna do like
I've
3
heard of that.
pallets.
Yeah, maybe we don't do this.
Yeah.
Before I completely finish this first beer, because you've been doing all the talking, I've been doing all the sipping. I cracked into Generator.
Oh,
and
yeah, me too.
There we go. Great minds drink alike.
That's right.
Double dry hopped West Coast pills. I really like. You've got Citra Incognito, Citra Cryo, Laurel Cryo, which is Laurel is a hop I need to revisit because I feel like I got some in like, I don't know, 2016 and I did not like it. But this beer is awesome. The aroma was like, as soon as I was pouring it at the beginning of you chatting, I was like, whoa, that aroma. It's like filling the room. And
tell us a bit about it. And it's your collaborators on it, I guess, as well.
Yeah. So Generator, I would say this is one of the most special beers we've done this year because we wanted to, like, we've done a few collaborations so far, but I just wanted to do a collaboration with friends that pretty much are brewers. You know, I love Lupullo and I like Barnside as well, but I was like, I just want to brew with them. You know, I just want to brew with theirs.
With the boys.
Yeah. So I decided like, okay, let's do a collab, but let's do it with Connor and Justin because they are really good, in my opinion, lager brewers, and they've been doing really cool things at their breweries. And aside from that, they are really great people. That's one very important thing for us, for me and Andrea. If we are doing any collabs, we want to do it with people that are really good humans. That's like first on the list. And these guys are, like, of course, great people. So yeah, we decided to do it. And then we built up the recipe with them. Great input from Connor was, hey, why don't we do it like a Timbo peel style, you know, like a little bit more higher ABV, so you can like back up all those hops and then dry hop in, etc. We didn't filter or anything this beer. We were like, let's do some cryo just to, like, you know, help on that end. And then Citra Incognito, of course, super solid. But the way we brewed this beer, it was a very traditional on the hot side, on the brewing side, all sass on the hot side, and then we use some Weirman, blend it out with a little bit of Europeals from country malt, and that's pretty much it. I think it's like 100% pills, blending a little bit of blend.
Weirman Pilsner or extra pale pills?
Extra
Which
pale.
one are you doing?
I think we did extra pale. Yeah. And then, if I'm not wrong, probably a little bit like sprinkle of maybe Vienna or something like that. Very like little, almost nothing.
For good luck.
Yeah.
Little color maybe.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. And then, of course, Citra Incognito. We did a hop dip with this beer. So we pretty much cast out really hot wort into the fermenter, and then we add Citra Incognito, and then we bring that temperature down, let it like mix pretty well, and then let it ferment really cold. Justin is really fan of fermenting very cold, going like from 8, like he starts sometimes at 6 or 7 degrees and then let it rise from there.
So
I think this beer we did 9.
With that, while I think about it, how do you do your dip hop and then get it down to 8 degrees?
It actually wasn't that difficult. The system, we have
you must have an awesome
we have a CLT
awesome heat exchanger.
Yeah, we have a CLT. And also the system is pretty cool over there because you don't even have to adjust the cold water valve. It's automatic. So
sweet.
Yeah, you got this sensor which is like adjust the speed of your pump as it's going to the fermenter. So you just set it up to like, okay, I want it like 8 degrees. And if your CLT is like 2 degrees, it's pretty fast. You know,
it'll get there. Yeah,
it will get there. And also, like, let's say you can have that beer at 12 degrees. Just set up your tank to like a little bit lower, and then we pitch right away. But that's something that could also work. But in general, like I think for this beer, we did the fermentation like really slow, and then just free rise it at the end. There's many brewers that just don't do that free rise. Some people that do like a little bit more like a cold rise, you would say.
Yeah. Cold and hold.
Like a rest.
Cold and hold. Leave it there for longer, right? Like for a week or two. In this case, we rise it up to 15 degrees, 15, 16, and then let it finish fermenting. And this is all 100% natural carbonation. We didn't force nothing. Like this was literally 2.8
How did
volumes.
you dry hop it?
So we dry hop it and then we spun the tank. We dry hop it, spun the tank, and then leave it. I would say it was like two Plato higher than final gravity, and that was pretty much enough for bringing this beer up to 2.3, 2.4 volumes, and then keep it under pressure for a week, 2 weeks, and 2.8 volumes. I did feel that like it feels like softer carbonation. I like it in a way because you can feel more that maltiness and that flavor coming from the hops, but at the same time, as a like lager, I know that lager drinkers, they usually like a little more sharpness on the carbonation, but I like how this beer turned out. That's pretty much it. And of course it's a Bad Religion name. We don't really promote that because I don't know if we're gonna keep doing it or not, but it's funny because a lot of people, it's like if you know, it's like
exactly.
I didn't know because it's not in my wheelhouse at all. I'm like,
totally
sweet.
fair. Like a backcountry. It's like backcountry when I see like some of their names. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I know that there's probably a lot of people that get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it cool too, right? It's like if it's not totally on the nose, like we made a rule at our breweries a long time ago, just like don't do like puns, or like just no puns, because it's so easy to do like a really easy pun for a beer name, but it's kind of lazy. No offense to people that make beer pun names, but it's like try to think like a bit more like outside the box on it. I think is good. You put all this time like thinking about how the beer is going to taste, and then it's like, what about this? You're like, okay. So it's nice to have a theme.
We also like when we name a beer, we try to name it depending on like the beer. It's like, okay, this beer is a pilsner, is gonna be solid. It's gonna be clear and clean, and like it's gonna be hoppy. I don't know, generators. Actually, we had a different name from different song, but then I was procrastinating, on my Instagram, and I saw a photo from another brewery with that name, and I was like,
they stole it.
But this was like 2 days before printing the labels, and I was like, okay, we gotta change it.
That happens. It gets in the zeitgeist, man. It's like it's out there.
Yeah,
it's funny. But it's super nice, super light and crisp. Like, I like this beer. It's definitely a drinker. Pretty saturated, like hop flavor. Definitely, like it's pretty intense.
The Laurel is pretty intense too. I would say these beers it's mostly focused on Laurel. It's like 50% Laurel, and the rest is like the Citra. But it's Laurel cryo and super concentrated. So I would say, that's why you get all that earthiness, like really, I don't know, like woody. It's Laurel.
What do you get from it? Like, what kind of notes are you pulling from it? Like, why Laurel in this one? Like, what draws you to that?
So I was looking for. I enjoy Laurel. I really like Laurel. I tried it at I think like 2 years ago. Went to CBC and I tried Laurel there on actually a lager as well. And I was like, oh, it's pretty nice and it's delicious because it's just a different hop. It's not very common, even though it's like you have those like earthy, woody notes. It's not the typical, like the classic approach for a lager beer. I feel that it goes really well with Citra, in my opinion. What we do usually is just pick one hop and then build around that. And the way we do it is a lot of like sensory based too. Like we literally grab hops and then blend them on our hands with like the hops that we want to blend, and then smell them. Of course, we can try them, but we just figure things by smelling hops and then grow from there. But It's just a hop that I really enjoy. It's very different. It's very unique.
Yeah, to me, it's like kind of like herbaceous and
Yeah.
like got this kind of like lemony, like lemon balmy character, which is interesting, and like a little melon, like cantaloupe thing as well. When it first came out, I was like, and I used it, and I really liked it, and I got the samples I got were really good. Brewed a couple like small batches with it, and then also got burned by like I don't know, maybe the next year's crop was like no bueno. We've been
I got some
and I've been
intense
talking about
green
this a
pepper,
lot. Like
and I'm like,
you'll have a hop and you're like get it one time, it's great. Have it the next or like year to year.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and for lagers, we're trying to brew more lagers. We actually are releasing the Neat, but like a revamped version of it. Neat is one of our core brands, but we're kind of redo a little bit the recipe and we switch a little bit the hops. We're working with Cinco Hyperboost and Citra Cryo on that one. And I was saying like, because we are more like forward focused brewery, we just like to experiment. So if I can throw those hops in like a classic pilsner, it's like let's do it and see how it goes.
Yeah.
As long as it's like
That's fun.
something coherent.
Cohesive. Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I've noticed, like from afar. I'm in Penticton, so I don't have the chance to always get your beers. Or I mean, I'm not going to the liquor store as much as I used to, anyways. But yeah, I've seen your beers, and the thing I've seen is like everything is very cohesive in like kind of your style overall. The branding is very cohesive. It all looks like the same brewery, and like everything's pretty hop focused. Maybe there's other stuff coming out that will differ from that as we get into the winter. But was it like really intentional for you to kind of come out with like, okay, we're gonna make hoppy beers in this market? Because like Azlan and I know it's really hard in this market for beers to stand out on the shelf. There's like, you go to the beer store now, it's full of so many options. Like, was that important for you to kind of start this project with like a real focus?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely rooted on like hops in general. And at the same time, we're trying to just be honest with the things that we like. I feel that in general, easy IPA right now is all over the place, and we could do something for like as a new project. We wanted to like bring more this hop focus, into like just focus on one little thing and give it more attention, because I feel that as IPA and hazy IPA went like mainstream and like popular, it went like all over the place. But the fun thing is like just seeing from other breweries what they are doing, like down in the States mostly. Went down to Portland and I went to one of my favorite breweries there, and I was trying their beers that I was like, those beers are really different. This is not hazy IPA. And eventually digging a little bit more, I got into like hoppy ales and saturated ales. And then I was like, I really like these beers because like so much hop flavor in them, so much aromatics. It's like completely different approach. Usually you got more bitterness to support all the hop additions and all the like the malt and the adjuncts on those recipes. So I was thinking, I like those beers and that's what I want to focus more. Of course, it's been like evolving and it's been like, it changing over the time. And just 1 year is crazy. But I think we're kind of like finding our niche, our spot.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want to like just focus on doing one thing because we also love lagers.
Yeah.
And that was funny because we were doing like writing something up and it was like, we brew hoppy ales. That was the thing. And then I was with Andrea and I was, you know what? Add something like ... and lagers. Actually, it was for the band. So if you ever see the band, you can see that because like we brew hoppy ales ...
Lagers.
That's
and
fun.
and this is pretty much it. Like we call it L1, which is the first official lager for lager series, and we're gonna be doing a little bit more of that. They're gonna be like focused for sure, but we're gonna do a little bit more of that for sure. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, and I think it's like a lot of, like you said, like a lot of breweries opened up. Like when hazy IPA kind of like came on the scene, everyone's like, hey, how are we going to like do our own version of this? And now there's a lot of like brands in the market that are like core brands for a lot of breweries like ourselves that are, were developed 5 years ago, 3 years ago that are not going to be necessarily as current as like someone that like yourself that can come in and do something that's like very saturated and just like throw a lot of hops into a beer with like, you know, pretty disregard for, you know, costing and like scalability of that kind of thing too.
Yeah, I totally feel
It's,
irresponsible for that.
No, but I think it's you're offering something which I think in a saturated market like that we have, you're offering something
needs a
different,
saturated ale.
right? Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
No, yeah,
I think
that's
cool.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And it's so like with these beers, like with your lager, like I was saying, the aroma was like exploding was from the can essentially. Like as I started pouring it, what is your dry hopping rate? Are you taking like, are you intentionally using cryo to like limit the amount of like polyphenol to help drive clarity? I don't know. These are my thoughts as I read through these things.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good question. I would say specifically for lagers, of course, we definitely decided to do like more cryo heavy on like generator, for example, just because hop matter, less polyphenols, clear it up, increase yield, you know, it's a little bit better on that end. And also like flavor, like for example, Citra, I find that Incognito in general, it's very consistent in like hop flavor. So if you want to get like that specific hop flavor, you can dial up like way more easier on that end, and you don't have to add all those like, you know, T90 to your lager, you know. So yeah, for lagers for sure, but like it's a completely different approach for our hoppy ales. We do like way more like dry hopping ratios, and we approach every beer differently. It's not only the amount of hops that you're adding to those beers to get them saturated, but also like process wise and the hops that you're choosing. It's crazy, but like some hops sometimes you can get that saturation from specific hops. And there are other hops that it's crazy, like Nelson, for example. Like any form or shape of Nelson Sauvin is pretty easy to like bring it up to a recipe and like really saturate that base beer, right? But I would say it's a little bit more
like with Astro Zombies, just pouring it, I'm like, I saw there's 1019 on it, and maybe I shouldn't have read that before opening the glass. As soon as I poured it in, I was like, oh yeah, that's 1019, and that's a hop that will saturate, so to speak. Now Dolcita.
Dolcita, yeah.
It's got an
Dolcita.
Yeah, so yeah, it's funny. I also tried that Dolcita. I tried from a brewery. What was the name of this brewery? I don't remember. It was in Nashville, actually, CBC as well. And I tried HBC 1019. They had a full list. Like they had like 6-7 beers, all made with Dolcita now.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, in a different approaches for West Coast IPA, for like hazy pale ales, hazy IPAs, double IPAs, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And I really got like in love with that hop. So I bring it into this recipe. This is very focused on Dolcita. So this is like 60% Dolcita, and then you have Simcoe, Cryo, Mosaic Cryo just to back them up. A little bit more Simcoe than Mosaic for sure. But yeah, we tried with this core brand to make like a really easy drinking hazy IPA. This is more similar to what you find like in the hazy IPA market. I wouldn't call this a hoppy ale or anything like that. It's saturated. It's not that crazy.
This is the Astro Zombies for anyone that missed that on the get-go.
Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah, and this one is what I like about this beer is like it's fairly dry, even though it ends up like really high gravity. But mouthfeel, it's completely different. Like you feel that it's like it dries in your mouth, and you want another sip of it.
When you say dry, like how dry is this getting? Like
technically, it's not, but like I would, like technically on the recipe, if you see the recipe and you see the final gravity, which is around 3.5 Plato.
Okay, yeah.
3.5 to like a little bit more, 3.8.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's
not
pretty dry. Oh, yeah.
But
I've heard some people that are like, oh yeah, 5 Play-Doh. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's I would say it's pretty dry for a hazy IPA. But yeah, it's we wanted to do like something that is more approachable and drinkable for the core brand for sure. But at the same time, you got that hop flavor. And one of the things that makes this beer, I would say, more drinkable is definitely the pH. So we consider a lot of the pHs during like brewing and also like during fermentation and dry hopping. So depending on our amounts of dry hopping, we adjust the recipe during the hot side, during the brewing. By the end of the fermentation, like finished beer usually is at 4.4 or 4.5 pH, and it's, I don't think it's that common because most of the hazy IPAs usually end up like pretty high pH as well. But this one in specific, that's a big difference. Yeah.
So you're adding things to kind of hit a target for like post boil pH, and like what's your goal? I know a lot of people are kind of going for like 5.0 for pH or 5.1.
Yeah.
Is that how low you're going, or are you trying to go even lower? It all depends on how much green matter you're going to add to the beer, I think, down the line. That's going to spike your pH quite a bit.
Yeah. What works for us is like usually 4.8.
Okay.
4.8. We can go up a little bit to 5.0.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, and we usually adjust with like lactic acid by the end of the boil. We also adjust it with
like
some salt
just before your Whirlpool edition.
Yeah, we do a hop stand for this beer. Pretty much all the beers most of the beers have they run through a hop stand as different temperatures. Nice. We also experiment with one beer doing like a double hop stand, which I don't think that's
I've heard brewers do that. Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you
do like an 85 and then like a 72.
Yeah.
Those are people that don't have to go home.
You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much that. It was like, okay, let's see how that works. But would be nice to bring that to a lab and then actually see if there's any differences, because like sensory wise, I don't know, I just did it on one batch. I didn't even split the batch. So I was like, I don't feel much difference, but it will be nice to try more of that. I know that that's something I also like doing, is like figure out different processes and things you can bring up to your beer that are not like, you would say, unusual.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the joys of like brewing on production at a certain point, is the ability to try and retry and like dial it in.
Correct.
Which, I mean, I'm sure, Miguel, you've had lots of experience with that at your other working places of work.
Other brands and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, other brands. But with Changing Colors being so new, now you're honing in new stuff. So it'll be seeing how that changes and evolves over the next while. Yeah, a lot of these are the first run through. How many batches 100%. Of Astro Zombies have you done now?
That's a good question. Probably 10.
Oh wow, cool.
Probably 10. We got a 15 hec system right now where we're brewing. Yeah, around 10 ish.
Nice.
So you'll yield like kind of like a pallet of cans, and then that's your go-to.
We do 355s for this. So yeah, usually we do like, we package most of it, and we package like, let's say like 12 hec.
You don't have any kegs really,
Yeah, and then in kegs we only have 2 spots, which are the Magnet and Threefold. Luckily, those guys are really awesome, and they were open to like join our idea of having like a satellite location, like officially, where they can have our releases like a week before we release them sometimes, which is kind of cool for cool. There's a lot of people like that really enjoy like saturated like hoppy ales and stuff like that. So they are like, oh, what's next? Blah, blah, blah. Go to Threefold and check it out. It's on tap already, right? So it's kind of cool. Like bringing people together, and also, oh man, we've been so lucky with all the industry, like different people from the industry so far, like being so open. I remember going to Lupulo, talking to Connor and Ryan. Ryan didn't even know who was it was like, you just bring him beers, and he was like, yeah, sure, try it. And then 1 week later he was like, oh, like send me over a keg, man. It's like being able to like feel that, you would say, support, and also like, just openness from other folks in this industry. That's like so cool, man.
Well, I think our industry is open, especially to people that are passionate about what they're doing, which I think, like talking with you, like you're passionate about what you're doing, and like that's palpable, and that's exciting especially for people like Azlan and I that have been in the industry for a while now. It's like you've kind of like, I've seen it all. You kind of get a little jaded, right? But then, someone comes along and like kind of like cutting through some of like the other stuff that's been out there, right? And just bringing something exciting to the market, I think is like so needed, right? And I think that's especially in the Vancouver scene. Yeah, it's
it
cool.
gets me pumped up, you know. I'm just like excited.
It's
I'm
like
oh, sweet, like there's all of these cool beers that I don't have to like cross the border to go try somebody who's doing these.
100%. Yeah, and just trying something new,
and
right?
yeah, you know, it's a different approach. I think you've really had your finger on the pulse and like starting a new brand and making it defined in a busy area.
Yeah, thank you. And drinking Hit Machine now.
Hit Machine.
That's what I was going to get into next, because this is hoppy ale with New Zealand hops. I noticed, which I thought is awesome, you got it's Garston, Rawaka, and Motueka.
You'll be in there.
Yeah. How'd you the Garston? I know the James from Garston was just up here a little while ago. Yeah, did you you start using his stuff before? How'd you hear about their stuff, and why specifically Garston over other New Zealand stuff?
I would say Garston. I saw it in 2 or 3 places, different breweries brewing with it. On the East Coast, I would say, I think it was maybe Tron, and then Brewhouse in Portland, and I tried something from them with Garston. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then I was checking like some stuff online from Treehouse, and they were like so stoked on Garston. I was like, yeah, I gotta try them. So like, it's funny because a few months before James was here, I was like, I reached out to them. I was like, hey, blah, blah, I would like to brew with your hops, whatever. And they were
also,
really
this
open.
wasn't
they
intentional,
but...
Oh
yeah, there you go. Yeah. And and then like eventually, James was sending me photos of the photos and videos from the harvest in March, and I was like, yeah, sweet, blah, blah. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna be in Vancouver, like I'm gonna be doing like a little tour, whatever. If you want to join, we sniffing some hops. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I came by, and then finally got to like smell like pellets, of course, of their varieties, and they were pretty solid. The Motueka was insane, like really, really awesome. And then right away I was like, yeah, I want to brew with that Motueka 2025. It was so good. Yeah, and I know you too, Azlan. You've been in contact with them as well. Have you brewed with Garston already?
Yeah. So our current seasonal hazy IPA is with Motueka from Garston and Nectaron from Freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. Probably not quite the hopping rates you're doing.
Is that the Mind Haze? Is that what you said?
Mind Trip? Yeah.
Mind Trip. Cool.
Yeah, Mind Trip. That's that Garston. So really actually, unintentionally, and I totally didn't even realize this until turning around the cans, because I like got the cans and then shipped them out first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. I sent Darren both of those beers, with Garston's Motueka.
In the same package. I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta try
Darren's
that.
got some pretty primo beer mail coming to the...
I got the best beer in the whole town, I think, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's pretty
not
much
just because Darren brews it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And then kind of, I mean, this is one of those things because maybe I'm not as well traveled as you. Whenever I see these things where I'm like, hoppy ale, 7.2%, isn't that just an IPA? How do you define those things?
I didn't get that. You were
you cut out there.
Try
it again.
Did I cut out
for a second? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, maybe because I haven't traveled to the same places. When I see hoppy ale, I'm kind of like, what and how do you define that? This is a 7.2% dry hop beer. To me, that's an IPA.
What's your differentiation there?
So it's funny because I feel that in the West Coast, in Canada and the States, of course, which is more popular and prominent, like hazy IPA, it's the West Coast is still like a little bit behind on like understanding haze. People on the East Coast, because they have like more availability of these beer styles, I would say they are more like, it's the same spectrum. as hazy IPA, right? But it's not the same. It's like like a Czech pale lager, and like lagers are pretty similar too. So in on that sense, in order, like who created probably the term is Tron.
Yeah.
Like Troon
I'm sorry,
Brewing.
Tron Brewing.
Yeah. If you don't follow Troon Brewing, it's a good trip.
Yeah,
They just like post when their beer is for sale, and every time I see it, it's sold out.
yeah,
It's like this small brewery in New York, I think. Or
yeah,
in Massachusetts, I can't remember. Somewhere on the east.
yeah, that area.
And they do all their beers are like opaque yellow things.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's up there with that
sold out
like
immediately.
like deep fried beers and like stuff like that, where it's like it looks like lemon meringue.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, and definitely doesn't look like a regular hazy IPA, but I would say it's on the same spectrum. In my opinion, you need like 4 key elements to make a saturated hoppy ale, and it's funny because the style is still evolving, and it's not something that is like a BJCP beer style already,
No.
And I feel that it's very niche as well. That a lot of people that it's very into like beer and stuff like that, beer geeks, they are the ones that are more like running behind these beers,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like one of those you just mentioned that is the color. So really, really intense pale. The paler, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just poured some, and like for those just listening, it's like very, very pale yellow color.
Yeah. And so I would say that's one of the first things. And like ingredient wise, of course, just choose like really like extra pale. This is Weiermann extra pale Pilsner for this beer. And then just go like really light on everything. We don't use any malted wheat, for example. Like all those things like add a little bit of color. So that's the first thing. I would say the second one is like.
So are you using like raw wheat? Are you using flaked?
Like flaked wheat and flakes.
For this beer in specific is flaked, like flaked wheat, flaked oats, and that's pretty much it. We do a little bit of cheat malt. I think cheat malt is pretty solid for like head retention and like gives a little bit of different character. But yeah. And then the second one I would say is saturation. And saturation is very hard to get sometimes because it's not only dependent on like hop additions, but also like process wise. So that's something we still experimenting a lot because like we've been doing like regular dry hops as like really classic dry hop, like just throw it from the top, don't do anything else. We've been doing like the rousing thing as well, like we've been doing like recirculating the hops and stuff like that, or like adding them to a separate vessel and like running beer through it. Like there's different ways. I think we're still like trying to find the best way to maximize that concentrated hop flavor. Usually when you drink one of these hazy IPAs, which is like the third point for me, is not as sweet as a hazy IPA. And it's not overly sweet on the palate in a way that like there's some bitterness to back up, a bitterness and flavor coming from the hops to back up the beer, right? In general. Yeah, this is more like a pale ale-ish, like a pale ale bitterness level, you would say, like 30, like 25 to 30 IBUs.
You're trying to like inhibit like any bitterness as much as possible. Like I'm assuming you're adding everything at like whirlpool, which is like a cooled whirlpool, like everything, or even just in fermenter. Like I don't know.
No, we actually want some bitterness. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and that's the main difference between, in my opinion, between a hazy IPA and a hoppy ale. Because
so you're like trying to balance that like sweetness more.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some hops for bitterness. I think this is if I'm not wrong, you have Columbus here, like 60-minute edition, and it's way more prominent like than a hazy IPA. Usually on a hazy IPA, you probably don't add any hops. Everything is triple, right? On these beers, you want to like layer it out a little bit more to have more hop character and more flavor. So that's the idea. The last one, which is something that I'm just gonna say it because I think these guys created the term and that makes sense. A hoppy ale usually is not linked directly to the ABV. They just call it hoppy ale. And it can be at 10% or it can be a 5%. As long as you have that hop saturation and as long as you have that pale color, hop saturation and hop flavor, a little bit different from a regular hazy.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like honestly, like this is something like I've been chasing a lot is trying to get this color and opacity in a lot of our hazies, and it's a fun rabbit hole to go down. You're like, okay, I'm gonna like lower my pH earlier in the boil in order to like inhibit Maillard reaction from happening from boiling for 60 minutes. If I was to like go down the road of like on a previous episode we were talking about simmer and strip with Mike from Crew, it's like then I'm like boiling at a lower temp rate, which would also create less color. Using extra pale Fireman, I literally have a photo here comparing Gambrinus pills and extra pale Fireman, which are both pretty close. I don't know if it was shelf life that was the difference on that, but yeah, it's fun and like nerding out on SRM in a way that I haven't thought about before.
True. Yeah, I've been doing the same. I've been under the same rabbit hole for.
Yeah. I can't remember. Oh no, I was like, now I remember who it was. It was I texted Tristan to be like, hey, because he's brewing all the beers at Boombox now. I was like, hey, how do you guys make your beer so light? Because I was curious. We were doing a seasonal, and I wanted to do something like in this kind of realm. But yeah, we're a big like. I use a lot of malted wheat, and I know that it's like, oh, it's only like 3.5 SRM or like 3 SRM. It's like, oh, it's a little bit, but it's a big factor in the beer. So if you can go to 1 SRM and use malted or flaked wheat or raw wheat, like you were saying, Azlan. Now they have like a new low color wheat malt from Great Western.
RAR also has one.
Yeah, RAR is pretty.
I thought you were gonna reference. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to use that. Shout out Heather. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I used that and it turned out really good. It's fun to like try to do this super light yellow beer kind of vibe is cool. But I'm super interested in this layering hops, like a 60-minute edition, and then like maybe even like boil editions in this beer. Like I don't know. I'm curious. Are you doing boil editions as well, and then like whirlpool, and then multiple dry hops? Yeah, lots of my like what I've read is like if you do multiple dry hops, you're gonna get more saturation, which is just like contact time.
Yeah, one of the points as well is like go really high. Like for one of these beers, you want like 30 grams, like at least 30 grams per liter, which is really high.
Get wrecked.
Yeah.
So for Hit Machine, there's 30 grams per liter.
I would say total. Yeah.
In dry hop or like everything.
You see, the thing is, nobody's ever used metric before. Like normally, I just like I only hear about these things in Imperial.
Yeah.
You know, because we're referencing an American podcast, and I'm like, I do the changes and stuff, and I'm like, nah, that's got to be wrong.
That's why, because I'm from Ecuador.
Yeah. So for people that don't know grams per liter, if you want to convert it to barrels, it's like
8 pounds per barrel ish.
Yeah. It's a lot.
8 to 10
per barrel.
Yeah, 8 to 10 per barrel, and that's the
of T90.
You can combine, like, of course, if you're using cryo, you have to account for that, like amount as well.
2 to 1 or whatever.
Yeah, imagine like all cryo 30 grams per liter now. That will be too expensive to make. Yep.
I mean, even at 30 grams per liter with
it is
with those. I mean, this beer's great. Yeah, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, no, and it's not green. And it's not astringent.
It's not much hop burn. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I really like it at 7.2%. It feels like drinkable. It's not cloying.
Yeah.
You got bitterness to back it up.
Yeah.
So to back up, and maybe I'll splice this in earlier, it's like we're drinking the Hit Machine now, which is the 7.2% hoppy ale with New Zealand hops. And like, to me, I get like lots of like lemon meringue pie. Like it's like really citrusy, sweet on the aroma. And like you get that Columbus is like coming through though, but not in like that dank OG way, but like just kind of like a base note where like the other Garson hops are like really like punchy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like it.
Riwaka is pretty nice too. It's funny that Riwaka is like a super, like I would say, super version of Sass. It comes from the same family, but it's like like double essential oils. It's like Riwaka is like so intense and citrus and like passion fruit. It's such a different hop, and it's funny. It's like, oh, it's coming from Sass. How the hell is that happening?
Yeah, man. New Zealand hops in general, like they all come from this like noble hop lineage, and I think it's just like so wild to, I don't know, I guess like view European noble hops in the way that like New Zealand has influenced it. And also from what I understand, it seems like the New Zealand breeding program and stuff is they're not doing a lot of I guess guiding, or it's mostly like a terroir project.
Yeah, which
like,
is really cool.
Yeah, so it's like a pretty natural expression of what those hops are grown like in that area.
There's some hops coming out, like
and
you know, you got the nectaron and stuff like that coming out of there.
Yeah,
some other ones, but yeah, it is like
but
taking
like the
hops that have grown other
the
places.
Rakau, the Rawaka are kind of almost
transplant.
Like yeah. I mean, Tahiki was a name they used for a bit, but that's just New Zealand Cascade.
Yeah, which is so different from PNW Cascade.
Yeah, it makes sense to call it something different. Like we use it, it's like, wow, they're totally different hops. Like
yeah,
100%.
No, it's what I really enjoy about New Zealand hops is they are so textured, they are different, they're a little bit wild and like kind of like, I would say, weird in a way, in a good way. But also like so punchy, so refreshing, and so like fruity and citrusy that it's like, it's so different from our Citra, Simcoe, Mosaic, Amarillo, right? It's like completely a different world. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, like you're talking 30 grams a liter for this beer. I think you can get away with that more easily because a lot of these hops are like lower alpha, maybe a bit lower oil. I don't know what these hops are coming in at. So like when you're throwing them in there, it's like harder to overdo it, where if you're doing like a really bombastic, like you got a big lot of like Citra, like 12 alpha, like it's going to be pretty intense and like almost like too much in a way, where like you can't really add too much Matueka to a beer. Like I've never been like, oh, this is too much. Like it just doesn't happen. So I like that with the New Zealand hops that we've used. Is like it's easy to like dial it up and dial it down, and you're not going to be unhappy with it.
That's true. And I feel that also like for these beer style in specific, like brewers are still experimenting a lot. And they're like, what you say, Azlan, is like just from color of the beer to like hop saturation and hop flavor. It's like working with different yeast strains from Quebec to like thiolized yeast strains, that's something that like brewers are still trying to find the best way to balance out and like saying, okay, this is actually what's happening, and get that big differentiator from like a hazy IPA, like I think in a way they are really crossing over,
right?
But
exactly.
It's getting there, and I would say like I'm a big fan of the breweries doing like digging those styles like really well, like Brewhouse or Tron, sorry, like it's just like insane. So Fidens as well, like they got really solid beers on that end.
Yeah.
So I feel it's something that is like on the works, and that's a cool thing as well, because it's very niche, it's very unique, and that's one of the things why we decided to like, let's do this, because like it kind of like reminds me when we were like 10, 15 years ago, like creating like hazy IPA was starting, or like all these different styles. Right? So it's more exciting in a way.
Everyone's like, how do you get that haze? You just pour double O flour in the mash?
Yeah. It does feel like that, right? Yeah. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Then you start hearing people, they're like, oh, they're doing it. They're pouring flour in the mash. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Or in the boil. A question that I've been wanting to ask for a little bit here: are you a thiolized yeast guy?
Hot take.
Hot take. I think it depends. I don't really. I mean, for changing colors, I haven't really used much thiolized. We do use like a thiolized yeast strain, but it's not like a crazy thiol. Forward yeast
expression.
So, and I've used it before, and I would say I'm personally not a big fan of it. I feel that it can probably overpower like the rest of the aromatics that you want to get out from the hops. But I don't know, it depends on the beer too. So for now, I think like if you're using tiles, just go like really soft or try to dial your tiles. I've seen many breweries doing like blends of yeast strains too as well, like using a little bit of like dial positive yeast strains and then like something more like plain, or working with like more classics as like a Verdant IPA and then like blend it with like Heliogazer from like Omega and then like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But personally, I prefer not going too hard
Right.
Yeah.
on thiol.
Keep it in check.
Yeah.
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 What's kind of your house hazy yeast then? Do you have one or does it rotate?
We've been rotating, but definitely one of my favorites. I use a lot of yeast strains from Omega yeast in Chicago. So we go that way. And I feel that it depends. Like we just did a collaboration as well with Escarpment Labs. And for that beer in specific, we did a blend of yeast strains. It was a Quebec yeast strain under like Foggy.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that, like Ebegarden and Foggy or something.
Yeah. We were trying to. They were trying to actually do like a yeast cross in between those two yeast strains, and then during propagation, I feel that it didn't went as expected. So we decided to just go and do a blend. Like I think we did like 70% like Foggy or London Ale3, and then Evergarden. It was pretty nice actually. I like it. I would say a little bit boozy. Because of that like really strong fermentation. Like our fermentation temperature can vary as well. Like sometimes we ferment really, really warm and sometimes we ferment like not that warm. But for that one, I think we went hard like to 24, 23, 24,
right,
even higher. And we were like, we wanted to catch the low end of the Quebec yeast strain and then go really high on the other yeast strain. But yeah, that's quite interesting. And I've seen many breweries brewing like saturated ales using a lot of Quebec too. So as I said, I think it's something that is experimenting. It's still on the works. For our case, we use like traditional, you know, you can use like London, or you can use like Cosmic Punch, or if you want to go harder, you can use like Heliogazer. And I really enjoy Verdant, for example, because you have some like biotransformation like elements out of that yeast, which are really, really cool, depending on the dry hop. So if you're, I think we released one beer that we were planning to dry hop like pretty much mid fermentation. I was like, yeah, maybe use that because it will like definitely help, right?
That's the Lallemand Verdant strain. Yeah. I've never smelled a beer mid fermentation that smelled as good as that strain. It's super cool.
It's really
pushes a bit of like vanilla kind of like sweetness and body. Like it's sweet. Like and like so I was gonna say somewhere between stone fruit and sweet citrus. Like it's cool. It's not just a London ale.
Yeah. Kind of used to that.
Yeah. And it's crazy when you try the actual Verdant beers. Yeah. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. Never tried those.
Solid.
Haven't got those ones yet.
Cool. So as someone that's kind of newer to like getting your toes into the craft beer scene here, I mean, you've been here for 6 years, like you said, but you know, still cutting your teeth, as we would say. What excites you about the BC beer industry, or like the Canadian brewing industry as a whole?
I think that, oh man, that's a good question. There's a lot of things that excite me. I feel that there's a lot of there's a bright future for the BC beer scene, but it's also very competitive. And also I feel that the people that will stay there, it's like the warriors, you know. and also in a way it's good. I feel that the fact that these things are happening are good for the beer scene, because we just gonna get better beers. Like we're gonna get like keep up building better brewers and better breweries. That's something that really excites me, like seeing in the future like more solid breweries and like just going out with friends for a beer and you know that you're gonna have really good beer.
For sure.
And I think we're getting there and like in the right direction, right? That will be my dream, just being able to like go anywhere and drink good beer. I think that's something here. Sometimes happens, but that's kind of cool. And then what was the question? Sorry.
Oh yeah, you answered it. Just like what's exciting you about the beer scene. Yeah.
And so when you're not at the brewery though, how do you spend your time?
Working on recipe.
Non-beer.
Gears are always
That's
turning.
a good
We
very
know that
good.
in the shower, all you think about is,
How
oh,
I'm
maybe I
gonna
should
make
use that
that
new
batch.
hop. Yeah. Yeah,
No, man,
exactly.
no,
Yeah.
definitely that's true because like for me and Andrea, this is a two people show, so it's been very intense. I can't complain, but at the same time, it's been like crazy. Like
It's busy. Yeah.
the last year we like launched in August and went did a festival, then low season like winter season, blah blah blah. We went through it steady, and then summer just like was like, oh my god, crazy. And like just two people, man, we did all the festivals that we could. Every
Oh my
weekend
goodness.
was booked up, and we've been doing deliveries ourselves. So it's like,
Savages.
and yeah, it's been I would say it's been a lot of work, but also at the same time like a lot of reward. Like getting invited from you guys is like, what the hell, why are you inviting me? But I you know but at the same time it's kind of cool because I feel like, okay, we've been doing so much like work in the back. We've been doing like the best we can somehow with the little like budget possible. And when you see things like running and working, and like you see people like buying your merch, and you see people wearing your shirts, or like people getting your beer and asking and say, hey, where the hell can I find your beer, right? It's that's very rewarding. It's like so cool. So it's been a crazy year. So aside
Fair.
of this, like I literally nothing else. No, not crazy.
Yeah.
I like jamming with the band. So
Yeah.
I've been a drummer for I don't know how many years, like probably 17 years now. So that's something I really enjoy doing. We jam once in a week on East End. I play drums there. I like
What's the name of your
vibing.
band?
It's called Dead Fast.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's
Lives up.
You
like
can search it up.
skate punk, right?
Yeah, it's a skate punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skate
If
punk.
you had to choose a festival, would it be Punk Rock Bowling or the Fest in Gainesville?
I already went to the Park Road Bowling.
So then you got to go to the Fest.
I will do the other one. Yes. Yeah, I went to the Park Rock Bowling. Vegas was great, man. Vegas, not many breweries, but I went to the BC Beer Conference in Vegas, and it was it was so sweet. I don't remember the name of this bar, but
did you go to the Fish show?
Maybe.
Wasn't Fish playing at the same time as CBC that year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There were so many things happening there. But yeah, like riding my bike is kind of cool. Like I used to ride my bike a lot back in Ecuador, like going back and forward from the bar to my place, like pretty much every day. So that's something I kind of miss a little bit. And New West is quite hilly, so
Yeah. New West is very hilly.
And then in the winter, you're like, no,
No,
yeah.
No. It's dangerous.
Yeah, and of course, like just like hanging with the family here at home. We also got the bug of hiking and like going out when it's hiking season and doing a little bit of camping and like outdoorsy, I would say for sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Yeah. It's been cool. I can't complain. Yeah, you guys are great. Canadians are awesome.
Some of us are okay. Yeah.
No, I was talking for the rest, of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Just to
yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, I think you guys have done a great job. I think, like you said, like you're hustling a lot. Like I think that, especially to come up with a new brand in 2025, you got to hustle. Can't just make beer and just expect people to come to your spot anymore. You got to hustle. You got to go to the cool places, the Three Folds of the world, Magnets, and say, hey, like, be bold enough to be like, hey, can you buy my beer? Because it's going to be good, and they will buy it if it's good. Like that's the thing. That's part of it too. So yeah, you got to hustle these days. You can't just be sitting around not doing that. So kudos to you guys as well. And yeah, thanks for the beer. Send them our way. Thanks for doing this podcast as well. And Azlan for setting it all up and shipping me a bunch of beers, which was great. Yeah.
No, yeah. Thank you guys as well. Like Darren and Azlan, it's been cool couple hours almost, and always admire what you guys been doing at your respective breweries as well. Neighborhood and like Yellow Dog, it's huge brewery, so I can imagine like the work you're doing in the back. It's like well done. That's kind of cool. And also like just doing whitey's beer in the pot is like, I don't know, not many people is taking the time out of like work and out of like, things just to like focus on something to chat about, like something you love. So that's pretty cool. And I really appreciate that. And I know Andrew as well. So thank you for the invitation, and keep it up, guys. Yeah.
No, we didn't pay him to say that. We appreciate it a lot. Yeah, Aslan and I are happy to chat beer with anyone. So we're happy that you could do this with us. And yeah, thanks everyone that's listening to the podcast. If you wanted to support us and the work that we're doing, you can support our sponsors. If you want to if they want to buy your beer, Miguel, how do they find it?
Oh, good question. It depends where you are, but like all over Vancouver, we're pretty much in Jack's Liquor, like private liquor stores, High Point, The Gull, Brewery Creek. On tap, of course, we have Astro Satellite partnership with The Magnet and Threefold. And then on the island, we are at Vessel, we are at Cook Liquor, like the main Cascadia as well, the main private liquor stores. And we are also selling on the Okanagan.
That's right. Here we go.
Yeah, Cask and Barrel and Mission Liquor. They carry us.
Nice.
Yeah. And we just ship beer to Alberta, but I don't know where in Alberta.
Get it and they figure it out.
They get it and it's there. Yeah. I know it's there because we just launched our online merch store, and then we got a couple orders from Calgary. I was like, Calgary? Oh yeah, we got beer there. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So check out the new online merch store. Is pretty cool. Yeah.
Sweet. We'll have to check that out.
That's great.
And if you want to support the work that Aslan and I do, you can buy our beer as well. Neighborhood Brewing Beer, Yellow Dog Brewing Beer, Main Street Brewing Beer. Main Street coming out with lots of fun stuff. Aslan sent me a bunch of cans. They're all tasting very tasty. I appreciate that. Thanks everyone for listening to the podcast. We have more coming your way pretty soon. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.